There is a very obvious line of our scripture readings set for today that is very topical. Tomorrow, Monday the 15th of June, for the first time in the best part of 3 months, our churches will be open to members of the public to access, to go in and enjoy the sacred space, to pray, to think, reflect and bring their thoughts before God in the timelessness of our beautiful, profound medieval buildings. And there's a line from the set psalm for today, Psalm 100, only a short psalm, and the line reads, "Enter his gates with thanksgiving, go into his courts with praise, give thanks to him and call upon his name." And we say that with a great sense of rejoicing and gusto and thanksgiving that this strange period for society and in our culture is passing, and that we can return to our sacred spaces. It has grieved me that the churches have been closed. During a time of pandemic of all times, you'd think that that was the right occasion to be able to access a sacred space, to bring your thoughts and your life and the lives of others before the Almighty. However, we do go back now to our sacred spaces, and sacred spaces are very important for us, places to think about the big meanings of life and to get in touch with that greater power, the great benevolence that brings all things into being and has brought you and me into being and holds all things together. Sacred spaces have always been important and remain important, and our parish churches, even if you're not particularly religious, there is something special about them. They are rich with heritage and history and timelessness. But perhaps our churches and our sacred spaces serve a purpose that directs us, in a sense, away from them. They bring us to a place where there are no distractions, where we can refocus, and in that place of contemplation and quiet and profound thought in a sacred space, the message is this: your sacred space is actually your headspace, and you can take it with you wherever you go, wherever you are in life. A place that may seem very non-sacred, you can tap into that idea that nevertheless in your headspace you are in touch with the Creator, you are in touch with his peace, you are in touch with his calm, you are in touch with his sense of having all things in his hand and divine providence. The line of the psalm goes on to read, having said, "Enter his gates with thanksgiving. For the Lord is good, his mercy is everlasting, and his faithfulness endures from age to age." God the Creator is timeless, and that means that he's been around much longer than church buildings, much longer than any spiritual building, much longer than any man-made sacred space. Before all those things were built, where could you go to find a sacred space to meet with God and draw close to him? Well, of course, our sacred spaces that we have built only serve to remind us that the whole of creation is a sacred space. And as I've gone on in life, having grown up in the church, a church-going Christian, brought up in Sunday school and so on, I've come better and better to appreciate that my favourite cathedral of all, my favourite sacred space where I feel close to the Creator, is this. It goes with you. and he will go with you. And our sacred buildings only serve the purpose of reminding us that God is actually universal and is with us everywhere. And the sacred space we keep in our own headspace, and we're in touch with God wherever we go. And here in creation, I feel closest to the Creator.